What's up guys, welcome back. Team Discmania, Casey White here. I am absolutely in love with my discs and I have so many good ones. So in order for a disc to make my bag, it really has to be something special. So today we're going through every single one of my discs in the cart and let's see what I'm throwing this year. Putting putters. I have not switched officially to the new P2s. So these are the original stiff P-line golf ball white P2s. Absolutely my favorite run of P2 of all time. Just perfect amount of stiffness with tacky feel. Sometimes they can feel a little slick when they're stiff, but these are nice and firm for when it gets too hot. They don't get too gummy. And that nice tack is really what I'm looking for with a putter, just that consistent grip. And if they go in, they have to be money. Moving towards the throwing putters, starting with the Soft Logic. I have this one in my bag for mostly just like straight touchy approaches. Many people who know me know that I prefer a sidearm approach versus anything. So the Logic is really a very specific shot, maybe a backhand turnover that really needs to just keep turning without any flex back, which is usually what I would use typically my Sky God 3 for. And the Sky God 3 has been in my bag for about 2 years now, and it started as super overstable, now it's become very straight. My favorite thing about the Sky God 3 is that it's very flat, so I can throw sidearms with it. So not only is it my overstable backhand putter, but I can also throw dead straight sidearms with something that the Tactic really can't. Before we move on, there is one more disc that is not currently in my bag. It's actually on its way here right now from Simon, and it is a Glow P2 that Simon is bringing to me because it has his face printed on it. Some fan sent it to us, and it's got to make the bag because what disc is better than a disc with Simon's face on it? The last approach discs I have are my Tactics. I have one Exo Soft and one C-Line Tactic. As many of you know, Soft Tactic, absolute go-to for me anytime that I am throwing an approach shot that I'm not jump putting. I'm almost always reaching for my Soft Tactic, and the perfect complement to the Soft Tactic has been the C-Line Tactic, which this disc just answers all the questions. It's exactly what I want in the Soft Tactic, with just that little bit more wind fight, a little more torque resistant, a little more bit of that anti-flex fighting back to hyzer, and it's just the perfect combo, and you can't go wrong with these two. One of my signature discs for the last couple of years has been the D-Line MD. Most people, if they know the D-Line MD at all, they probably know it because of me. I use this mostly for same thing as a Logic, crazy flip up turnovers, as well as some really long jump putts. I can use this for like a jump putt approach disc to up to like 170 feet. And it's just a disc that maybe doesn't get used every single round I play, but when I need it, I'm glad I have it in the bag. Next most stable would be the Midnight Prowl. This is a new addition to the bag. I've been throwing the Origin since it came out, but the Midnight Prowl has to be my favorite run of the Origin. It's flat, rather stiff, that perfect stability where I think a regular Origin can it's an understable mid-range, but it can take a lot to get it to turn over, but I feel like the Midnight Prowl is the perfect balance of understability with reliability. And now, one of my favorites, the C-Line MD1. This disc is the tell it what you want it to do and it'll do it type of disc. You hyzer it, it'll hyzer. You turn it over, you turn it over. You throw it flat and hard, it'll go flat and hard. There's just almost nothing this disc can't do. If we got to throw more mid-ranges on this on tour, I would probably be throwing this disc a lot more often, but when I need it, it's great to have. Just unfortunately, I'm just more of a driver guy when we're playing the big arm courses. Also very similar to the C-Line MD1 is my S-Line MD3. These ones are probably about a year old. This was the first one I threw in the bag when I got this batch from the warehouse. Very similar to the MD1, just a little bit different feel in the hand. I prefer the MD3 for fan grip versus the MD1, I prefer power grip. But pretty similar, same thing. They don't get the most action on tour, but when I'm playing a really heavily wooded course, it's a lot of fun to throw. And more of a sidearm option from the S-Line MD3 is my C-Line Metal Flake MD4. Now, these do very good in hyzer to flat and a little bit of anti-flexors, but mostly the reason I have this disc in the bag is it's just a little bit straighter on a forehand than say my C-Line Tactic or my MD5. So the fact that I have this in the bag for anything that just needs a little bit more a turnover and not a hyzer out as much, I like to keep the MD4 in the bag just in case. And as I just mentioned, This is one of my favorite Color Glow C-Line MD5s. I got this one from Mike Carmen last year. It's definitely the flattest one I've ever seen. You know, reliable, overstable sidearm approach, backhand hyzers, anything you want, especially standstill backhand little flex shots is what I like the most for right now. But this is just the best one I've seen because my biggest priority on an MD5, which is an overstable disc, is full, like how flat it is. And I haven't seen one flatter than this one. As many of you know, the FD is the best disc of all time, if not, I don't know, at least second. But FD, Night Strike 1, Night Strike 2, and second run FD, there is no better fairway combo. This Night Strike 1 has been in my bag for about a year and a half. Super reliable because of how understable it is. Like, I can throw it on any hyzer angle and I just know that it's always gonna come all the way up to flat and maybe do a dance, maybe come all the way over into a roller. That's just kind of my all-around scramble disc. This disc is a dream. The next most instability is my very first Night Strike 2 that I got from Nate Perkins in 2019. This disc, it's undefeated. It's just never gonna get old. It's so good, dead straight, hyzer flip, forehand, backhand, anything you need. It's just super versatile and super straight. And now this is a new addition for me, the second run FD. I've heard so many good things about the second run FD, and I never wanted to get my hands on one because I was too afraid I was gonna like it too much, and I know that they're hard to get a hold of. But thankfully a fan sent this one to me for free, and I'm super pumped about it because this disc is incredible. And I absolutely need more now that I have one. So I'm officially sucked in, and if you have any second run FDs and you want to trade me, hit me up. The next category is a little tricky because people say that 9 speeds aren't fairways or 10 speeds are distance drivers. So I usually just call them like the control driver slot. And what better control driver than the C-Line CD2. Now the way I explain this disc is exactly what I get out of my FDs. It just goes like a little bit farther. So say that there's a shot in the woods that I maybe want to throw a distance driver but don't feel as accurate with the wide rim. I just pull out my CD2 and it flies almost just as far with a little bit smaller rim, so I feel a little bit more accurate. But same thing as the FD, some sidearms, a lot of backhands, great for hyzer flips and turnovers. And then the FD3s are always a classic in the Discmania lineup. I have 2 FD3s in my bag. One Color Glow that I got from Simon 2 years ago, and one Glow that's recently new to my bag this year. This Color Glow is so beat up, it's barely even an FD3 anymore. It's really good for long turnover sidearms or hyzer flip sidearms and dead straight backhands. There's just no better disc than an overstable, reliable disc that you've beat up every single throw yourself. Where the Glow is really, really good for any standard hyzer bomb shot, backhand, sidearm. Really my favorite right now is just chopping over on like a crazy anhyzer and just let it fight out because it's very new still. So it's got that late fight out of the anhyzer really, really good. So this is absolutely a favorite, and if you throw Discmania, Glow FD3 is a must. Moving to another one of my favorite slots in the bag, the PD. I have one old Lone Howl 1 and a new C-Line PD in my bag this year. This Lone Howl I got in 2020, and it has just evolved into one of the most controllable discs for me. I can hyzer flip it, I can turn it over, I can hyzer it straight left. It's workable whatever angle I want, as much hyzer as I want. It's probably my best gap hitting disc right now, and it's just super versatile, and I'm really screwed if I lose it. But this new C-Line PD, I've had a love-hate relationship with the original C-Line PDs. I had one that I really liked, but these new ones are exactly what I've ever wanted out of a PD, because it's not too overstable, but it's not straight. It's just perfect, throw it as hard as you can, and it's gonna go left eventually, just not right away. So I can't really ask for much more. I am going to love this disc for a long time, and I can't wait till you guys get to try them out too. And nobody can talk about me at Jonesboro without bringing out the tilt. I actually just lost my tilt yesterday, just throwing for fun, but this tilt was the original meta tilt I got. It's just one of those discs I tell everybody, you gotta have it and not need it rather than need it and not have it. So always in the bag, you never know what situation you're gonna find yourself in. You need a jank flex sidearm, you need to go up and over some trees and dunk it in the basket. You never know, you just have to be prepared. Always have a tilt in your bag. We finally made it to the distance driver portion of my bag, which in my opinion is the most exciting. So, first we have my understable distance drivers, which this one is a really old Cloudbreaker 2. It's basically a roller at this point, or mostly for sidearms, but anything that I just need to know that no matter what, it's not gonna wanna hyzer out on me. I can throw Sky Annies, hyzer flip sidearms, it's really good. And then the perfect step up for this one would be this original Cloudbreaker 1 run DD3 that I've been beating in for a while. Also got this one from Mike Carmen. This thing has just been a hyzer flip machine for me. It goes forever. It's great for sidearms as well, but those are my two more understable ones. Moving up to the medium stability DD3s. These are three of the oldest ones in my bag. These are both from the 2020 season. I have Just Send It, my original stock stamp DD3 that I've had in my bag longer than I've been on Discmania. And then my Cloudbreaker 2, which was the first Cloudbreaker 2 I ever owned. And then my C-Line prototype DD3 that I got last summer. Right now, all three of these are pretty interchangeable. The Just Send It is a little more domey, which I think I'm a little more inaccurate with, so it really only comes out for open courses, where this green one, this Cloudbreaker 2, is probably my most accurate DD3 right now. Any angle, any shot shape, I am in love with it, sidearm, backhand. And then the red one is just that perfect step up in stability where say my game plan was to throw the green one, but it's a little bit of a headwind, I just switch over to the red one. So these three is really just like a shooter's choice when I step up to the tee. Next up in stability would be a little bit more overstable than those. My original Cloudbreaker 1. I've had this disc since 2019. I've been in and out of the bag with it, but it's just reliable and then I kind of phase it out. But right now it's in pretty solid. It's just great. Overstable, but not too beefy. Goes plenty far while holding up in a headwind. It's just something that's a great step up from my C-Line prototype. Now, a couple new additions to the bag are a couple brand new Cloudbreakers. I have a brand new Cloudbreaker 2 and a brand new Cloudbreaker 3 that I got from Simon. And that green Cloudbreaker 2 has been getting pretty flippy, so I've noticed that I should probably put a new one in before it gets too far gone. So this blue one's about to get put to work to start beating it in to be a backup for that green one. Where this Cloudbreaker 3, if you don't know, the whites and the grays are the most overstable. And this thing is basically a PD2 for now. I've very rarely thrown it. I threw it one time at Tallahassee into a headwind, it didn't even flip up. So I'm still trying to learn it, but it's just that scenario where right now it's just gonna stay in the bag just in case I need it. My last two discs in my lineup are both of my PD2s. This is a super old, I think second run PD2 I got from my buddy B-Stank. And this disc has been owned by a bunch of different people. I'm pretty sure this disc belonged to Simon at one point, at least that's what I was told. But super old PD2, super used, beat up, just never loses its reliability as far as being a PD2, but so workable where it's not too overstable. I can throw it on Annie and it'll go forever, but it'll always have that fighting finish. And great for sidearms, anything you want. This is the dream of PD2 right here. And when all else fails, you always have a metal flake PD2. The flat run, tons of metal flakes in it, super overstable. Any headwind, I can't even trust myself to throw this on a hyzer, even if it's a ripping headwind because of how overstable this thing is. But absolutely never lose sight of it. Like, just doesn't go far enough to lose it. It's a type of tilt disc, but this is just something that I have recently learned to love ever since I've had my Max out of the bag. And super flat, super overstable. Use it in the wind. If you've ever played around with me, you probably know that I have a lot of grip issues when I'm on the course. So this is something that I have. I have a drive bag, a chalk bag that my friend Trinity makes, another little dust bag, and then literally a bag of dirt, because you never know. And you always have to be prepared. And in my opinion, grip is one of the most important things as a disc golfer. So just being able to adhere to any conditions, whether it's humid, whether it's cold, whether it's sticky, anything, you gotta be prepared. And now, of course, hacky sack. Nothing better than a good backup. If somebody breaks out the hacky sack, you can get like 10 people going at once. Everybody usually jumps in. It's usually a good thing to lighten up the card. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys like checking out my 2022 in the bag. Of course, I'd like to thank everybody for supporting me while I'm on the road and while I'm playing it on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. But thank you so much to my sponsors, Disc Golf 978, New World, and of course, Discmania. I would not be here without them. I wouldn't be throwing these incredible discs if they did not sponsor me. So thank you to them, and thank you to everybody for helping me out, and we'll see you next time.